Okay, so let's start by opening. First of all, I've opened a blank worksheet, just like you can see on my screen. Okay. So for my case, what I'm going to do in the interest of time, I'm just going to copy something. So I want you to type at least, first of all, I have a name somewhere here. So I want to type at least 10 names, okay, up to somewhere in this column for name. So meanwhile, as you are typing those names, for my case, I'm just going to copy from the spreadsheets I have. Then I think I'll be using those ones. So once you're done typing the 10 names, I think we shall continue from there. At least I'm done having the 10 names. So you people, can you now see my screen? I guess yes, you're able to see my screen. So we're going to try out preparing a payroll using Excel. So we have a number of columns. First of all, we are going to assume these are our employees. We have employee name, we have basic pay, we have transport allowance, we have housing, feeding, medical, risk allowance. Then we have, let's assume we have also NSSF. We have also pay as you earn. Okay. Then we need to get net pay. How much at the end of the day someone will take home as their take-home salary. Can you hear me, members? Carol, can you hear me? Can you hear me, members? Oh, members have already left. Anyway, they will get us on the way. So what we are going to do, we are going to prepare a payroll, okay? And we are going to have these columns just like you can see on my screen. First of all, I've got employee name. We have basic pay, we have transport allowance, we have housing allowance, we have feeding, we have medical, we have risk, NSSF, pay as you earn, and then finally, net pay, okay? So what we are going to do, first of all, let's have something in our basic pay. Usually organizations, what they do, in fact, you have got a starting point, okay, for the payment, whereby whether you've worked or not, you have something you are paid, okay? You have something you are paid whether you've worked or not. Just imagine, for example, sometimes people go for leave, maybe maternity leave, maybe annual leave, and so on, and they are not working. How comes that these people are paid? Okay? So in fact, in most cases, when they are paid, okay, for example, they may not be given a transport because in any case, they are not incurring any cost in terms of transport, okay? But much as they are not traveling, but at least they have to feed, and sometimes maybe they have to be given accommodation, okay? Then while you are at work, maybe there are no risks. While you are on leave, there are no work-related risks as well, okay? So we are going to work it out using Excel and see how we can go about it. Therefore, I'm just going to use random numbers to generate the basic pay, okay? Therefore, I'm going to assume that maybe we have something between 500 and maybe 2 million for each one of our employees. I'm going to use a function called round between for my case to generate those values or those numbers randomly. For your case, if you want, you can just type. If you're following with me and you can catch up with what I'm doing, you can as well do what I'm doing. So I'm going to say equal sign, then round between, okay? After round between, I'll open my brackets. After opening the brackets, I'll put the initial value. Okay, I want to start from between 500, in a number between 500,000, comma, and 2.5. Okay, and then close my bracket. So I've been given this value for this candidate or for this employee. So I'm going to copy the same for all other employees. If you want, you can type. If you don't want to type, you can use what I've used. Okay. So I guess we are good to go. Can I move on?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Robert.
Yes.
I request if you can repeat that formula for that random pay. The first payment that you got.
Okay. So what I did, I said equal sign. Remember, all formulas and functions begin with equal sign. Okay. So I said equal sign, then said round between. The moment you type the first one or two letters, you'll be given a pop-up with options to choose. Okay.
Yes, I'm saying that.
So one
Yes.
letter. For example, once you type R, okay?
Yes.
All functions will start with R will pop.
Yes,
I want
popped.
this one here. So I'll just double click on round between. Like that.
Round
Once
between,
click on it, yes.
Yes.
So it will come into your cell where you are entering the formula or function.
Yes.
So once it comes, now I just need to type I want to have a random number between a certain range. Okay. So in this case, I want a number between 500,000. Okay.
Yes.
And therefore I'll put a comma between 500,000, comma, and which number? Maybe I want between 500 and
1 million.
Our employees are getting so that okay, whichever number you want. Okay, may have used 2.5. Okay, I've used 2.5. After writing that random number, after writing that function and providing the range, just press enter. Any number will be given to you. Okay, in that range.
Okay.
Getting that number in that range. Of course, if you want, you can put commas, comma separators. If you want, okay. We shall look at all of this. Don't worry. Okay. So just drag downwards. Last time we looked at how we can drag downwards. Therefore, we are dragging downwards to copy this formula or this function to the adjacent cells. Therefore, by now I have all my cells populated with numbers. Okay. So, having had my cells populated with numbers that I'm going to use, ladies, now I need to continue. Are you following?
Yes.
Okay, very well. Now I'm going to open my notepad. First of all, for your case, don't need to open it. If you want, you can open, but I'm just going to note down a few things here to guide us in what we are going to do. Okay? So we are going to assume, ladies, we are going to assume that the transport allowance, let me first try to reduce on the font to big. Okay, transport okay, is maybe 21%, okay, 21% of our basic, okay, of our basic pay, okay. We are going to assume also that housing is, why are we doing that? You find that, for example, let's take an example from the university. You find that at the university, even when they are giving us transport, in case it is available, okay, you'll find that we are not all using the same transport means, okay. There are those that are given cars, for example, like the VC, the finance manager, the US, and so on, okay. There are those that are using Kayola, okay, funds, okay. There are those that are given refund, okay. There are those that are supposed to cater for their own transport, okay. So you find that they, assuming they're giving maybe money, we can't all get maybe 500,000, okay. There are those that can be given 500,000 based on their position, okay, and so on. So we are going to base on our basic pay in this regard, okay, to determine how much is each person given based on, because first of all, their salaries depend on, their salaries are based on positions they are holding. Therefore, we can as well assume that still maybe these other allowances are also based on the same. Therefore, in this case, we are assuming that transport is 21% of somebody's basic pay. Then transport is maybe 15.3% of the same. Then feeding, I think we are going to have a fixed rate since we all eat the same food, okay, in the organization. Okay, I think let's add another one called lunch, because maybe when while you are at work, you can still need to have lunch, okay. So for purposes of earning more than what had been planned, okay. So we're going to call this one lunch, okay. Then let's look at feeding, like I said, okay. Maybe this one is part of your salary, feed your family, and yeah, we are going to assume maybe it is which percentage, maybe 25% of basic salary. Then lunch is, each one of us is charged, we are given the same amount. Lunch maybe 20,000, okay, fixed. Then we have medical. Let's assume it may be 30, not 30, maybe 26%. Then risk allowance is, which percentage? Let's give it maybe 32.1%. Then NSSF usually they charge us usually which percentage? 10. They always charge us 5%. Then the employer adds 10%. So they're going to deduct 10% of our gross, okay, of gross. All these ones are based on basic pay, okay, but this one here is going to be determined based on our gross pay. So let me put it aside. The same thing applies to, we have pay as you earn at the extreme end. It's here. Okay. So pay as you earn, it depends, but let's assume we have a blanket figure since we're all earning between 1 million and the above. So let's assume it's 30% blanket figure. The way some organizations cheat employees by deducting the same blanket figure and it's not remitted. Then, having added this, we are not can we now try to compute our these different allowances? Who can and who can't? Who can and who can't compute these allowances up to, actually all up to pay as you earn? Anybody who can't
Mr.
compute?
Robert,
Yes.
where are we coming up with these figures of the basic pay?
Basic pay, were you around right from the start?
No.
Oh, this is a woman. Basic pay, we just assumed any figures we typed. We either typed, I told people to type anything they want or to generate random numbers. Usually there is a pay scale that for this person, this is how much we are paying, okay? There is no specific formula, okay? So meaning maybe in your contract, this is how much was put in your contract, the way it is done at work, okay? So
Yes.
just typed anything we wanted. Have I answered you?
Yeah.
Okay. So can we now generate figures for all these cells? Can you generate the figures for the cells? If you can, if you can't, raise up your hand. If you can, I'll know that you are working it out already. Okay,
but Mr. Robert, some of us who don't have laptops.
That's the challenge, and I've been telling you people, if you want to learn, you need to have working computers. That's the challenge, and of course, I have no control over it. So there is no way I can. Maybe if you, what I'm going to do, you members, this is what I've now resolved. I always put these recordings on YouTube. Okay, I created a channel. Some class requested, so now I upload on YouTube and give the link. So what you will do in case you happen to get it for anytime you want, even after 10 years, the recordings will still be there. Okay, so you can try out anytime you want. Carol, you have any question? I can see one is up.
Said we raise up our hands if we cannot compute these.
Okay, so the rest I assume that the rest are doing it. Since only one person raised up their hand, only one person can't do it. So what we are going to do for us to get transport allowance, we are told, let me first put my screen. Let me put all the screens available so that I don't have to always switching.
Mr. Robert, you're breaking off at a certain point. I'm
breaking off. Is it trouble to your network?
No, it is true, sir.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me get off and then get back afterwards.
No challenge.
Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, so we have transport. Transport, we are told it is 21% of our base pay. Thereafter, we shall come to our cell for transport and compute.
Your screen, Mr. Robert.
Okay, let me share it. Let me share my screen, then we continue. So we are, okay, the screen is coming. Okay, so we have our screen. I think you are now able to see it. So we are told that transport is 21% of our basic pay. Okay, Therefore, let's get started. Shall just remember all formulas and functions begin with equal sign. Therefore, we shall say equal sign. Then, if you know mathematics, those that did mathematics at whichever level, okay, you can compute percentages, okay? So if we were using the mathematical approach, the normal approach, we know we would maybe say 21 out of 100 times this figure, okay? That is mathematically, if you remember, okay? So for us, what we are going to remember, I always emphasize, is this from using the values, okay? Use the addresses of the cells, purposes of making your system automated. Therefore, we shall say, this time around, we shall say, B2, which is the cell we are working with, okay, times 21%. I can even do it the other way around by saying that maybe 21% times B2, it's the same, okay? So once I press enter, I have got the 21% of my basic pay, okay? I've got 21% of my basic pay by just saying equal sign B2 times 21%, or I can as well say 21% times B2. Now, having got transport allowance, we have our 21% of transport. Now we are going to do the same for all other cells, okay? So we're asked to compute housing allowance as well, and it is based on basic pay as well. And in this case, we are supposed to use 15%, 15.3%. So I guess that by now we are able to compute everything. Can we compute everything now? Those with working computers. So for housing, we want 15.3% times our basic pay. I've got my housing allowance. Let's do the same for feeding. Feeding is 25%, 25% times B2.
The basic pay, yes.
Okay. Sometimes some people could say maybe 25 out of 100 times B2, it also works, okay? But to be precise, may always prefer preciseness, okay? So to be precise, I don't have to pass that over 100 because this is more. The moment I say percent, it automatically knows that it's supposed to say out of 100, okay? So that's why I may always prefer using this precise approach. We have it for feeding. Let's move on to lunch. We are told that lunch is going to be fixed. You remember that? It is 20,000 for everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's first skip lunch and look out for medical. So we have medical is 26%. 26% times our basic pay. We have it. Let's also compute for risk. Percentage 32.1%.
1%
times our B2. Oh, I didn't put equal sign. Then we have pay as you earn and NSSF. Now, for these ones, we need first to get gross, but let's first get to lunch. Okay.
Okay.
Let's first get
Yes.
to lunch and see. Now, in Excel, we have got two major types of cell references. Okay. We have what we call relative cell references and absolute. Of course, we also have what we call mixed, but mixed is a combination of the two. So we don't have to look at it. Let's look at relative and then absolute. Excel uses relative cell reference, okay, as the default type of references. You're getting me? What do I mean by relative? For example, I'm going to drag this, what I've typed in transport downwards, okay? Remember what I typed in this cell was B2. Do you see B2 on the screen?
Yes.
That's what I typed in the cell, okay? And pressed enter. Then what I did, I copied this formula from B2 to the next cell, which cell is this now? Which cell is that? Where I copied it, where my cursor is right now?
Mr. Robert, we are not seeing your cursor.
You're not seeing my cursor.
I'm not seeing
my
it.
cursor is here where the cell, where the active cell is. Are you seeing where the active cell is?
No.
Yes.
You people,
Where?
can't you see the active cell on my screen?
The one having
Okay, let me highlight it
120.
with a different color. Can you see this highlight?
Yes.
That's where the active cell is. In other words, the cell that you click in. Now I have clicked on cell B, sorry, cell C3. Okay. I think some of you are using smartphones which give you a smaller projection, a smaller screen. That's why you can't see, but those with computers are able to see. Okay. So right now, that's where my cursor is. But remember, my cursor was here. Where, let me highlight with a different color. Where my cursor was, where I typed the formula. Okay, my cursor was where you are seeing red. Let me give it a more bright color, maybe, for members to see. So my cursor was here. That's why I typed the formula. Then I dragged it where you are seeing yellow highlight. Okay, that's why I dragged my cursor. Now, after dragging my cursor to where you are seeing yellow, after copying my format where you are seeing yellow, now try to double click in that cell. What are you seeing in the formula? Which cell are they pointing to?
B3.
B3. Now go to the next cell. Which cell are they pointing to?
B4.
B4. How about right now? Which cell are they pointing to?
B7.
B7. Now, that's what we call relative cell reference. When you copy anything, when you copy either a formula or a function, okay, using the fill handle to the adjacent cell, okay, what happens is that the formula is updated. The address reflects the cell to which it is copied. Are you getting me? Are you getting me?
Yes.
So the formula is always updated based on the new cell what is being copied. Okay, hence we call that relative cell address or relative cell referencing, whereby it is copied, it is adjusted relative to the new cell. Okay, now what we want to do, for example, let's first try to say, assuming actually I'm going to insert a new row on top. I guess you know how to insert rows. Okay, so I'm going to put my cursor on number 1 here, then click insert, a new row will come. Okay, so I want let me put feeding somewhere here. My lunch allowance somewhere here and write 20,000. Okay, so I want each one of the employees to be on their pay to be added 20,000. Let me put 150, assuming each day they are getting maybe 5,000 for lunch, then times 30 days, then put 150 for all employees. Okay. So now let's get here and say maybe we want our lunch. You want this one to come here. Okay. Normally, under normal circumstances, maybe somebody could say equal sign. Then once we click, of course, on this D1 and press enter, the 150 will come here. Okay. Why? Because I told this program that please go and get for me whichever you find in D1, bring it for me here. Just like I would, for example, ask it to do what? To bring for me this one here by just typing the same equal sign A2. It will bring me what I have in A2. You're getting me?
Yes.
So in other words, I can call anything to come in any cell. You're getting me? Now, assuming I call the D1 like this, okay, and pressed enter, and then it dragged, the next cell. The next cell is now calling housing. I think that it's now calling housing.
Yes.
Based on relative cell reference.
Yes.
Remember, relative cell reference keeps updating. You are getting me?
Yes.
Now let me call again. Okay, the next cell will bring that value you are seeing next. You are getting me? Now the next cell will bring blank because there is nothing. It's giving me because these cells are having nothing there. Okay. But what I want is I want it to keep calling the same figure. Are you getting me? Which is 150. I want it to keep calling this one here 150,000 throughout up the end. So in such a case, if I want to keep calling the same value or the same content of the cell, the same cell content, in such a case, we use what we call absolute cell reference. What is absolute cell reference? This is a type of reference which keeps pointing to the same cell, regardless of where the cursor is positioned. Okay? Regardless, even when I drag, it will keep going to that specific cell. Now, the question is, how do you write relative cell, absolute cell reference? Okay. Remember, for example, previous I just wrote, for example, what did I write here? Let me see. I just said B3. Okay. It's what I wrote. You're getting me? I wrote, that's what I wrote. Okay. Now, that's what I wrote here. Then when I dragged, it kept updating B3, B4, B5. Right now, why you were seeing is reading B3, not B2. What I wrote B5 is because I inserted a new row. That's why they have been adjusted. Instead of seeing what you saw before of B2, you're now seeing B3. Okay. Now, I want it to keep pointing to the same value here. So what I will do instead of just writing B3, for example, times this. I'll say equal sign B3. Sorry, not equal sign, $sign B3. Okay? You're getting me? Don't worry, I know you are lost, but you'll get it. While I'm writing absolute cell references, ladies, okay? If I want to write absolute cell reference, okay? And I want to write A, okay? If I want to write A using absolute cell reference, I'll write $sign A. Okay? That's how I write absolute cell reference. It will be $sign A. Then if I want to write A3, I'll write $sign A, $sign 3. Are you getting me? Are there people who are lost? Are there people who are lost?
Yes.
Should I continue?
Yes.
You are lost.
Sir. Yes.
Yes. Lost. I'm not
Okay.
getting anything from
Now
those things.
listen. If I want to use absolute cell reference, whereby I want to keep pointing to the same cell even when I drag to the adjacent cells. Okay. And I have, for example, cell A. Okay. If I want to write A, but using absolute cell reference, I'll write $sign A like that.
Okay.
I think the $sign I wrote. Oh, this is not dot,
Yes.
that's percentage. Sorry, it's supposed to be dollar. Do you know how to write a $sign? Do you know a $sign on your keyboard?
Yes.
You know $sign. So I'll write, instead of writing A, I'll say $sign A like that. Okay.
Sign.
If I want to write a B using absolute cell reference, I will say $sign
B.
B like that. So in other words, you precede it with a $sign. You're getting me? If I want to write D, I'll say $sign D. Okay. Then how about if I want to write F4? I'll say $sign A $sign 4. Are you getting me? Okay. Are you getting me?
Yes.
If I want to write F4, I'll say $sign A $sign 4.
4.
You're getting me? How about if I want to write B2, what do I say?
$sign B, $sign 2.
Okay, $sign B, $sign 2. Okay. Now I think, have you now got the concept?
Yes.
I guess yes. So by default, let me repeat, Excel by default uses relative cell references. With relative cell references, once, for example, this is B3, okay? So meaning I wrote B3 here in this case, okay? But once I drag and copy this format to the next cell, it will not read B3 again. It will update automatically. You're getting me? So in this case, this cell here is reading B4. Okay. So in other words, it keeps adjusting based on the new cell. Are you getting me? But now I want to keep read. I gave you an example of this figure here. Okay. In this case, I wrote D1. Okay. But once I dragged, it pointed to the next cell here. So that's why you are seeing housing here. Once I dragged again, it pointed here. Okay, that's why you are seeing this figure here pointing to this. Then once I dragged again, it is pointing to this, which is having nothing, hence is 0. The same thing applies to this 0 here. Okay. Now I want you to keep reading 150. So who knows what we should do to make it read 150 throughout, even when I drag downwards here? Who knows what we should do? Who can tell us?
I think we should
Can somebody tell us? Yes, Carol?
I think we should do $sign 1.
Yes, $sign D. Okay, $sign 1. Very good.
In the same cell.
In the first cell here. Okay. So once I drag downwards here, you said it's now keep reading 150,000. Are you now seeing that after dragging, it's now reading the same figure? Okay. So if I happen to change this figure here, maybe it is 20,000 like I used before. Okay. It will keep giving us 20,000 throughout, meaning whichever is in this cell, even when I drag, it will keep pointing to the same cell. Yet, if you have to look at these cells here, okay, these cells are not giving us the same figure. Why? Because for them, they're using relative cell references, which keep updating the what? the address, okay? But in this case, we want to use the same figure throughout. Hence, absolute cell reference. With absolute, we said we precede each cell which value with a dollar sign. Okay. So I guess that now we are good to go. Let me generate for these two. That is housing and feeding. If I can move on. So I have the allowances for housing and feeding. Then let me also do the same for the first column. I think we are now good to go. Now we are remaining with medical. I think we can just do the same thing for these two and the drag. Okay. Actually, let me select all the three and drag at once. By the way, you can even select multiple columns and drag at once. It's not a must that you have to drag one cell at a time. I can first work out all, then drag at once. Just like you can see on my screen. Then we are now remaining with NSSF and pay as you earn. Okay, but we are asked to base these two on gross pay, but we don't have gross pay. What does the word gross mean, first of all? What does gross mean? What's your understanding of gross? Can somebody talk to us and tell us what gross means?
Gross, to my understanding,
Yes, who can tell us what gross, even in English, not in Excel, but generally what gross means?
that amount you paid annually.
Annually. Oh.
Mm.
For example, assuming you bought, let's say, ladies like chocolate, okay? Then, for example, the packaging, you have gross weight and net weight. What does it mean? Maybe you've bought something, it's having gross weight. Maybe you have bought a box of soap, okay? Then on that box, there's gross weight, maybe 5 kilograms. Net weight, 4.7. What does it mean? Any feedback?
Hello?
Yes. Auma, can you mute if you're not speaking? Your microphone is making noise in the background. Okay, so let's move on. So what gross means excess, okay? Meaning in this case, for example, we have maybe excess weight, okay? So you need to, not every, gross means everything inclusive. So for example, when, just like the example of soap, okay? The box, the packaging inclusive, but the packaging is not soap. I'm not going to use the packaging, okay? So the packaging deducted, I will get the net weight of the box of soap I've bought, okay? If it is chocolate, like I also say, maybe they are including all those packaging materials and other things, which is not chocolate that I'm going to consume, okay? So net means the exact thing that I will take home, the exact salary in this case, after all deductions have been made, okay? Therefore, in case maybe you happen to apply for the job and they tell that you're going to be paying you 1 million, don't celebrate yet, okay? First find out, is this net or gross, okay? Otherwise, you might think that they're going to give you 1 million when at the end of the month, you're going to take home maybe 600,000, which can't even be enough for transport and feeding. Okay, so always negotiate, bearing in mind that whichever is gross, you not take everything that is gross. Okay, so we need to first find out gross. Okay, how can we find out gross? Gross means that we are going to sum up all the allowances plus the basic pay. Everything that we are entitled to up to here. Okay, we need to sum it up and get the total. Meaning, well, by the way, we can work out this summation in the same cell here if we want to use a complex approach. Okay, we can work it out here. For example, we can say basic pay plus housing plus feeding plus lunch plus, okay. Then if you know what body mass is, okay, then we get 5% of that off. Okay, but to simplify it for you, let's insert a new column here, okay, and call it gross. Simplify it for you, let's create a new column and call it gross. Then let's sum up all these allowances plus the basic pay. Therefore, I can either use Autosum if I want, or I can just say maybe B2 plus C2 plus D2 and so on, whichever approach we want to use. So for my case, I'm going to say Autosum. Okay. After Autosum, I'll spell out the range I want to use. I think it has already been highlighted automatically by the system. So I want to add everything from B2, sorry, from B3 to H3.
Yes.
So I have my answer, I have my result. Somebody will be wondering why I have hash, 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 hash. Okay. But why I have hash, hash, hash is because the figures are huge, they can't fit in the cell. So all I need to do is just to adjust. So whenever you come across such, just know that the figures can't fit in the cell. Just need to adjust the column size. So after getting gross, now that I have my gross for this candidate, I can, based on this gross pay, determine NSSF.
Yes.
So can somebody try to compute it for us? Who can? Okay, who can't? If you can't, raise up your hand.
Of course.
If you can't compute NSSF and pay as you earn based on gross, raise up your hands. We are asked to compute for NSSF it's 5% of gross, whereas for pay as you earn it is 30% of gross. So I guess you're able to do it.
Yes.
Equal sign. Carol, tell me what I should type.
5%.
I just type 5% right now. What should I type?
5%.
My cell is blank. Just start from scratch. My cell is blank. What should I type?
Equals 5%.
5%
times the gross pay. This gross pay.
We call this symbol asterisk here. This star we use for multiplication is called asterisk. Okay. Actually, yeah. So equal sign 5% times gross pay. So we have our NSSF, meaning this person is earning 1.5 as their gross 1.57, but they are going to deduct from this much, they're going to deduct 5%, the way it is always done at our places. And the 5% is 78,856 shillings. Then we have our NSSF, sorry, our pay as you earn. Yes, I'm going to ask Trida to tell us what to do. Trida, can you speak to us? Can you unmute and speak to us, Trida? She's absent, maybe. Is she on? Okay. Let me ask Nora, since her microphone is on. Nora, can you tell us? Nora, can you speak?
Hello?
Yes, we are getting you. Yes.
Kindly repeat for me, NSSF, please.
Repeat the what?
NSSF formula.
NSSF. NSSF, if you remember what we did for all these others here, okay? We did the same for NSSF. If you remember what we did for allowances, such as medical, risky feeding, okay? We are asked that NSSF, we want to get 5% of gross pay, okay? And we have our gross pay already here, okay? So we have our gross pay already. So we want to get 5% of gross pay. Therefore, we said, according to what Carol told us, Carol, what did you say? Equal sign, yes.
5%.
5%.
5%.
And the other side.
Times,
Yes.
times what?
The gross pay that
Gross
we
pay.
just.
Yes, times the gross pay, which is this
One
figure here in
million.
I3. As simple as that. Now I'm going to ask members, if you're not speaking, mute, okay? Because I'm getting some echo. Only those that are speaking, if you should only unmute when you are speaking. Nora, can you mute? Okay, thank you. So we have our NSSF. Now I'm going to ask, who asked that question? That is Mange Grace. Mangeni Grace. Oh, your network is not good. I was going to ask you something, but your network is not good. I wanted you to tell us how to get pay as you earn. Can you now tell us how to get pay as you earn? Grace, if you can speak.
When you were repeating, my network was off. I didn't get the NSSF.
But we have repeated it again for you.
It's okay. Someone else will help me. My network is terrible.
Okay, fine.
It's okay.
Okay. Can Beatrice tell us how to get what? Pay as you earn? Beatrice, can you unmute and speak?
For the pay as you earn,
Yes.
the equal sign,
Equal sign.
multiply 30%.
30%. Yes.
Times the gross pay.
Times gross pay. Very good. Okay. So we have our pay as you earn. So you can, as much as you're getting 1.5 in your contract is what they put. But at the end of it all, this is what they're going to deduct as taxes. Okay. Plus this. Okay. Now we need to find out our gross pay, our net pay. Okay. So can we do it now? Let's find our net pay. Who can tell us how to get net pay? Net means what you remain with after deductions. And we all know that we have this net, this NSSF and pay as you earn as our deductions. Who can now tell us what I should type here in this cell to get our net pay?
Which formula are we using? The equal sign?
Sorry?
Get the equal sign.
Yes, equal sign, that is the bit rest.
Then we put the NSSF.
NSSF, which is, oh, sorry. We said we put equal sign, then we get NSSF, which is J3, yes?
Plus pay.
Plus payee, yes?
Minus gross pay.
Minus gross pay. Okay. Like this?
Excuse me.
Like that?
Hello.
Yes, we are in negatives.
No, that one will bring negative.
Has to come before the NSSF.
Okay, she has the idea, but just rearranging.
Okay.
Just
I
need to
think
rearrange her.
Yes.
Let me try, sir.
Yes, Frida.
I think we shall start with the equal sign.
Yes, equal sign.
It will be equal sign
Then,
minus 3.
then
Yes, Frida, can you speak?
we get the gross.
Sorry, we get?
We get equal sign, then gross
Yes, then the gross
minus NSSF,
minus NSSF
then minus pay.
minus pay, like this. Okay. Thank you. So this is what we've got. Okay. Actually, let me copy it and put it somewhere here for reference purposes. Okay. Oh, that's refused. Okay, it's okay. So it is okay. So actually, what she has done is very right. Okay, but you can make it smarter if you remember body mass. Okay. So meaning I can, if I was to use body mass, I would say gross pay, the way we have it here, okay, minus, then we open a bracket, okay, and do like this, okay. So in other words, gross pay minus the sum of these two. That's why you are seeing a plus sign here. So what body mass does, if you remember body mass, they will first work out the bracket, okay? Bracket of, then they first deal with what we have in the bracket. Add this, add the NSSF, and then pay as you earn. Get the total. After getting the total, then we shall say that we shall come here and say gross pay minus what we have in our bracket. As simple as that. Okay. So after getting all the cells, we just need to drag the way we've been dragging, and we are good to go. So we have it. While you are seeing the hash, just know that the cells are small. We need to adjust. How do you adjust? By just dragging the columns. You can, how do you drag? Okay, you can even just put, for example, I want to adjust column K. I'll put my cursor between K and L and double click. Once you double click, it will automatically adjust to the appropriate size. Alternatively, you can just drag. So whichever you want to do, either way, will take us to the same destination. Now that we have got our net pay, previously we looked at if functions. Do you remember that? We looked at if. You remember that? You remember that? Members, they don't remember. Okay. How? Okay. Well, I want us to revisit it as well. I want us to revisit the if again. Look, based on this, why are we revisiting? Some people sometimes don't understand. They just cram. Okay. Somebody will think that maybe to do what? To use if you only have to be dealing with marks, and not all of us are teachers. Okay. So I want us to look at it as well. So let's put something here, maybe performance. Okay. Performance. And then maybe remark here. We have remark here. Okay. Then maybe this person here, his performance was good. This one was also good. This was excellent. This was fair. This was excellent. This was good. This was poor. Okay. Let me just copy this and so I'm just going to copy this. You can do the same if you so wish. If you want to type, you can type. I guess you are done copying. You just copy once and keep pasting until you fill in for all the cells. Copy once and then keep pasting. Now we want to have remarks, okay, based on performance. And in this case, these are the remarks we are going to be having, okay? Let me first get my notepad screen wider. So we are going to assume that those whose performance is good, what should we do for them? Those whose performance is good, what should we do for them?
The increase on the salary, maybe.
Yeah, I think we looked at these things, not so? Did we look at it?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Should we revisit it or we continue? What should we do? Should we continue or we leave it since we looked at it?
No, we revisit.
We revisit. Okay, let's revisit. Okay, so those with the good, maybe salary increment. Okay, maybe 30%. 30% increment. Okay. 30% increment. Then those that have excellent, those with the fair.
Fair training.
Okay, fair training. Okay. Those with excellent.
Promotion.
Okay. Promotion. Okay. What else do we have? What else do we have? Which other remark do we have?
That is
We
all.
have fair, excellent. We have only 3.
Yeah.
We have poor also. I remember.
Poor.
Yes, we have poor. What should we do for poor?
Counseling.
Counseling. Okay, fine. Okay, so we want us to use if to do what? To know what this. I want us to see how to use if to determine which decisions or which actions we should do take. Okay, so I hope you've noted these things down. Now I want some people to mute. I'm getting some echoes. If you're not speaking, please mute. Okay, thank you. So we are going to start on the remark using if. We said, let me just do it myself to save time instead of telling members to do it. So we said, first of all, we begin with equal sign when writing formulas and functions. Okay. In this case, we want to use if function. Okay. So shall we say if, open bracket. Okay. Then after opening bracket, we have the cell which is M3. Okay. In this case, remember while we were working with the numbers, we were saying if M3 equals, okay, or sometimes you could even say less equals, great equals, okay? So that is what we are going to do. Let me first pause a bit. I have some noise in the background. So we are going to say if, by the way, I was talking about operators, okay? We have got different types of operators which you can try and investigate about. For example, we have what we call arithmetic operators. When we talk about arithmetic operators, we have what we call, for example, add, subtraction, division, multiplication. Those operators do arithmetics, okay? We have, for example, we have what we call logical operators. For example, less than, greater than, equals, less equals, and so on. We have other types of operators, but shall not dive into that, okay? So we are going to be using logical operators in this case, okay? So for numbers, we would use, for example, less equals, okay? But for example, if you are to look at names, whereby if somebody is called, if I come across a situation whereby somebody is called Carol, for example, it can't be less equals Carol's, less equals Carol, okay? It is either Carol or not Carol. You're getting me? With numbers, they can be less. For example, I can ask the system to get me number, people who are earning less than $1 million, okay? It's possible to get people earning less than $1 million, or more than $1 million, or equivalent to $1 million. But for example, when you're dealing with text, just like you looked at database management, data types, okay? You can't have less equals in such a case when you are dealing with variable characters, okay? So in this case, since we are dealing with text, it should either be something or not, okay? So if you want to get, so in this case, shall say if M2 equals good, for example, and this good, since it is variable character, okay, since it is text, okay, should be enclosed in double quotes, okay? Therefore, I'll open my quotes, then type good. The spelling must be the same as what you have the other side. Close quotes, comma, then the output. Can somebody mute? I can hear some echo. That is who? Okay, Carol, you have a question? I can see your hand is up. Yes, ask.
I'm requesting if you can start from the equal sign there. I got lost from there.
Okay, let me delete everything.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, can you now mute and lower your hand? It's still up. Okay, thank you. So we are saying equal sign. Okay, the syntax is equal sign. If you are writing formulas and functions, we start with equal sign. The syntax is equal sign, function name, open bracket, put your arguments in the brackets, and then close. As simple as that. Therefore, shall say equal sign. In this case, we're using function called if. Okay, open bracket. Then we need to carry out our logical tests. Okay, so in our logical test, we are testing what we have in M3. So shall we say if M3 equals, for example, equals poor, Okay, but in this case, since remember with numbers, we are just saying equal and then we put the number as our input. Okay, without having open quotes. But with non-numeric inputs, okay, we enclose non-numeric inputs with double quotes. Okay, we enclose them in double quotes. So shall we open our quotes? If M3 equals, for example, poor, okay, close quotes, put a comma, then our output, okay? Our output, in this case, we shall also open quotes like we did previously. Open quotes. Yes, what do we want for poor? What is, I think under poor we have counseling. So we shall type our counseling like that. Close quotes. Now that's one part. But we have, I think, 4 parts of the formula. We have for good, we have excellent, we have fair, and then what else? I think poor. Okay. So we have 4 parts in this function. Okay. So before going to the next part, put a comma. Okay. Then we are going to repeat the same thing, except the first equal sign is done. We are not going to type again. Okay. Except the first equal sign is what we are not going to type, but everything you're going to type it the way you are seeing it. We only change the input, in this case, what we have in the first quote, which is our input, and then the output, which is in the second double quote. Okay. So we shall say if M3, oh, I made some mistake somewhere. I didn't open the bracket. Okay. If open bracket M3, okay, equals, the other one was poor. Let me use good this time around by opening quotes, of course, first, opening quotes, then type good, close quotes, put a comma, open quotes for the output, type your output. I think what we have under good, we have 30% increment. Okay. So we have 30% salary increment. Okay. Close quotes, put a comma, go to the third one. The third one I think is excellent. We started with poor, then good. Now we are working on excellent. Okay. If once again, open the bracket, you put the value, the cell we are looking at, which is M3 equals, open quotes, and to put our input, or input, I think this time around is excellent. With the same spelling, there we have it there in our cell for input. Once you miss even a single letter or a single dot, you not get what you want. Okay. Close quotes, put a comma, open our output. I think our output is promotion according to what members said. Close quotes, put a comma, repeat our if once more, open bracket, put the cell we are trying to test. Okay. If M3 equals, we have poor, we have good, we have excellent. I think we are remaining with fair. Fair. Oh, we didn't put quotes at the beginning. Let's put quotes at the beginning. Close quotes, comma, then open quotes for the output. I think it was training. Okay. Then close our quotes. After closing the last two quotes, we just need to close the bracket. But remember, you opened our bracket 4 times, then we shall close 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are good to go. Once I press enter, you can see whoever is having a good salary increment. Once I drag once again, okay. So you're able to see that everything is now. So in other words, if can be used in any situation, okay, not for marks only, the way we had it last time. It can be used in any situation. It can help you save a lot of time taking decisions. Now, having seen that, okay, having seen what we have done, I want us to move on and try to manipulate our spreadsheet. Okay. When you look at my spreadsheet, first of all, I've shown you how to insert what? How to adjust the cells, remove those hash symbols we've been having in our spreadsheet. I want us to also look at how to, for example, remove the decimal places we have. How, in case I want to put Uganda shillings as the what? Currency symbol. How to, in case I don't want these commas, or in case I want commas and I want there after 3 decimal places, how to insert them. Okay. So let's try out, work on that. Then afterwards, I'll be able to look at other things. So let's start with decimal places. Let's round off to 0 decimal places. So to do that, we shall select our columns that we want to round off. Okay. So I want to round off all the columns to 0 decimal place. Okay. After selecting the columns on our home tab, you can see we had, you see under number, we can either increase decimal places or decrease. Okay. Sometimes find that when you click on decrease, if I had selected the numbers only without these headings here, for example, assuming I selected, let me try to show you something here. If I select this cell here without those headings on top, okay, let me read it. If I select this heading, for example, here, without the headings on top, and then go to my home tab and click on this, you can see the decimal places have disappeared. Okay, they disappear one at a time. So meaning I keep doing what? Clicking on this decrease decimal icon. Okay. So why it cannot work while even these headings are selected is because these headings are not text, are not numbers, sorry. Okay. So the system can't understand what you are telling it to do. So meaning I can either select those numbers specifically without the what? Without the headings, okay, and click on that icon. This one here, it will work. Okay, you can see the numbers. The numbers now have no decimal places. If not so, if I didn't do that, okay, I could as well, let me first undo. I could as well use the same approach I used previously. Okay. And then under still my home tab and the numbering group, we have this one here, general option. Okay. So under general, if I click and select number, okay, now I can use this option here of reducing the decimal places and increasing decimal places regarding, depending on how many decimal places I need to have. So it is as simple as that. Then the same thing applies to currency, having currency symbols and so on. I can now under numbering, if I want to have, for example, Uganda shillings, okay? Let me select these numbers without those headings, since I don't expect headings to have such currency symbols as well. Okay. So first of all, let me apply the decimal places, the commas. Okay. Or if how to insert commas, we just come under still number on the home tab. Okay, where we went for number, we have this. The more you click, commas will come. Okay, and go. So decimal places, you are able to insert them and remove. Okay. Then how about I want to put currency? We have the dialog box launcher. Okay. On each group, for example, under alignment, we have this. Okay. Under font, we have this dot here in the corner, on the right hand bottom corner. Okay. Why do we have those launchers? Is because we have so many commands under each group, but they can't fit on that screen, and yet we need to have that screen available for us to use. So we can't have all those commands occupy the space. Therefore, we always have only few commands in each group. So in case I want more commands, all I have to do is to click in the launcher. So in this case, since I want to have currency symbols, I'll click in the launcher under number. Then it will pop up. I will get the launcher. So under, when this box opens, I have a number of options under number, okay, including currency. Okay. So once I go under currency, we have symbol. So when we look at symbol, I have none. So you want specifically Uganda shillings. So it's up to me to look out for Uganda shillings wherever it is. And they are arranged alphabetically for information. Okay. All the currencies we have in the world are there, including Uganda shillings, meaning we are also known somewhere. Much as sometimes some people think that Uganda is not known. Okay. Towards the end, if you can see where my scroll point is towards the end, okay, if you scroll up towards the end, you can just scroll to save time. Okay. So it is here, UGX. Okay. So once I click on UGX and click on OK, you can now see I have the currency symbol on all the numeric cells that I selected. Okay. Now that we've seen that, there are some other things you can try out. I want you to take your free time and try out different things and see how they work. Having looked at this, let's look at freezing pens. Okay. What do I mean by freezing pens, ladies? When right now, if I'm to scroll, for example, here, okay, and ask members which column this one is, which heading do I have on top of this in my E9? Can somebody tell me which column it is, which heading I have? It is very hard, except if you are a magician. You're getting me? You can't tell which column it is, not until I scroll upwards, okay, to check which column it is. Now imagine you have a very huge spreadsheet with thousands of records, maybe thousands of employees, even hundreds of maybe records. Okay, that means you have to, especially such a huge spreadsheet with so many columns and rows, you have to keep switching, scrolling up to check. Okay, so what I need to do in this case, is I need to ensure that as I'm scrolling, for example, the way I have this information here, okay, Do I have this information here? Let me try to copy this information. Then paste it in my worksheet. Okay. So I have this worksheet here, the way you are seeing it, with a lot of information on top. Okay, I have this worksheet with a lot of information on top. Once I scroll, everything disappears on top. So I can't know what I have on top. So how about if I don't want from here upwards? I don't want this information to scroll. Okay, what can I do? What can I do to ensure that as I'm working with my worksheet, from here or from whichever position, from whichever point I want, okay, I don't want that information to scroll. So we can use what we call freeze panes. Okay, so with the freeze panes, it is on view tab. So in other words, view tabs allows you to customize the way you are able to view your worksheet and your spreadsheet information. Okay. So once I go to view tab, I have freeze panes under zoom here. Is it under? No, it's under window. Okay. Under window, we have freeze panes. Are you getting me? So when you click under freeze panes, we have three options. Option number one is freeze panes, okay, which says keep rows and columns visible while the rest of the worksheet scrolls based on current selection. Okay, that's option number one. Then option number one says freeze top row. Top row means that I'll only have this, for example, in this case, this word in the universe will be there permanently. It will not, even when I'm scrolling, it will not scroll. It will remain in the same position. Okay, that's option number two. Then option number three, freeze first column, meaning these names you are seeing, the first column here, everything you are seeing here will not move, but these other things will move as I'm scrolling. Okay. In this case, what I want is to ensure that this heading here upwards, okay, from the heading upwards, everything remains there stagnant. So what I'll do, since I want this heading not to move, everything in the heading not to move, that's row number 8, I'll get any cell below it, okay, below row number 8. I'll get any cell, select, put your cursor in any of the cells below it, and then go to freeze panes on your view tab, and then keep row and columns visible while the rest of the worksheet scrolls based on current selection. Okay. Before doing it, ladies, I want you to observe this line here. This slide, you look at you are going to observe something here that is going to happen. So remember, I want row number 8 upwards, not to move. Okay. So I put my cursor below it, below row number 8, and in any cell, you can select any cell. Okay. In row number 9. So we are going to freeze panes and then keep row and columns what? Visible, and click. So if you have been very sober, you must have observed that there is a line which has come. Okay, have you observed this line that is thicker than all other lines? I guess yes. Okay, so let me undo. So to remove that, remove the, right now if I'm scroll, you realize that these other cells up here, okay, are moving, except that cell. Okay, so I'm going to unfreeze. I'm going to unfreeze. So to unfreeze, you go back to freeze pens again, and then click on unfreeze. It has now disappeared. Now, once I scroll, everything moves. Okay, so now we are now going to try it out once more. Oh, I think this information here you are seeing, once I pasted this here, it has affected the other information on the what? On the right. So let's first remove this information that I pasted. First of all, it's even not so much relevant in this case. So I've removed this information, though it has affected our work. I think let me undo until we get back to our original worksheet the way it was, without those cells. Yes, I've removed those cells. Now I want where you are seeing name, okay, upwards, not to move. So in other words, I want these headings to remain stagnant. Okay, so let's focus on cells below it. Okay, in this case, I want starting from this cell here to scroll, okay, to move. Since I want starting from this cell here to move, I'll look at where to put my what? My cursor. So in this case, let's try to, since I want from here to move, let's first put in the next cell, which is F4, okay? And then go to freeze pens, then freeze pens. So right now you can see that from where the cursor, remember I put my cursor in the cell below number 3. So from number 3 downward, from number 4 downwards, it can now move, okay? While those cells on top can't move, meaning my headings are still visible even while I'm scrolling. Okay, so meaning if I wanted from number 2, I would put my cursor in number 3, anyway in number 3, which we should also try out for purposes of perfecting. Okay, so now I'm putting my cursor in number 3, anyway in number 3, so that from number 2 onwards they don't move. From number 2 upwards they don't move. So freeze pens and freeze pens. Now you can see that if I'm to scroll, number 2 upwards are not moving. And for information, that just like I told you before, you realize that there is a thick line which comes, okay, after clicking on freeze pens. So it is as simple as that. Now, having looked at freeze pens, ladies, having looked at freeze pens, okay, just like you can see right now, let's look at something else. Let me unfreeze. Since I want mine to move, let me unfreeze. I said to unfreeze, you just go to freeze pens once again and click on unfreeze. Now let's look at something else. Are we tired?
No, we can continue.
Okay. So having looked at freeze pens, how about if I want to have my worksheet having what? Borders. Okay. Cell borders. There are 2 ways we can do this. Okay. By default, if I'm to print out this worksheet, it will be these lines you are seeing, these boxes you are seeing this side will not show. Actually, let me show you how it will be when you print it out. Okay. If you want to see how it will appear on paper, you can go to print preview. You can see it will come without what? Without those lines. It will be plain. Okay. It will be plain without those grid lines, because those lines are just guiding us. Why you are seeing the names having those lines? Because for the names where I copied them, they were having those border styles. Okay, but these other cells don't have borders. So I want us to try it out as well and see that we have those. So it's very simple. First of all, select the cell that you want affected. Select them up to where you want to stop. Then go to your home tab. On your home tab and font group, under font group, we have borders, just like you can see where my cursor is. Okay. So once you get to this, click in it. We have border options. In your free time, you can try out different options, but specifically, me, what I want is I want all borders. So click on all borders. You can start. Now we have all the borders, all the cells having all borders on all sides. If I'm to preview once again under print, okay, you can now see that it's quite different from how it has been looking before. Okay, having seen that as well, ladies, I want us to look at how about if I don't want this? Sometimes when I want to put some more designs in my borders. Okay, what we can do in such a case, we can still select our, let's select starting from the headings this time around. Actually, we can even select everything, but let's select starting with the headings. Okay, from the headings going downwards up to the end of our spreadsheet. Okay, after selecting the way I've selected, we have still on our home tab, we have styles. We can apply styles. Okay, then under styles, we have formatters table. Okay, so we can format our worksheet as a table. Therefore, we can just click under that and select any table style we want. Okay, just like you people, I guess you must have seen, for example, in newspapers when they are printing lesson results or anything, okay, which is having out of information with numbers, with figures. So select any style you want that you feel comfortable with, that you think it is going to work out best for you. My case, I'm selecting light orange, table style light 17. So after doing so, I have my selection shown and my table as headers. Okay, so I'll click on OK. You can now see how it's looking like. If you want to change the style, of course, you can always keep choosing from the available styles. Now you can see the current style, how it's looking like. Okay, if I try to hover around the different styles I have, you will see that it will keep changing. Okay, for example, I have this one now. I think it's looking nice. So in other words, it's up to play around with your worksheet and make your data appear the way you want. Then having looked at table formatting as table, we can move on. How about if I want to print this worksheet, ladies? Okay, but I don't want everything printed. Okay, but before looking at that, let's first look at, by the way, when you are printing out this, let's go back to print preview and see. Okay, by clicking on print, Control P. Now I'm on worksheet number 1. Okay, I'm on page number 1. If I'm to go to the next page, that is how it's looking like, and so on. You are able to see these headings on top on each one of the pages. Why? Is because I have just a few lines, I have just a few rows in my worksheet. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this case, I'm going to copy these names. Okay, I'm selecting these rows from row number 1 without the headings, but just from the first student or from the first candidate up to the last one. Copy, Control C, then go to the after the last row. I'm going to paste. Okay, I'm going to do it 3 times. I'm going to paste once again after the last record. I'm pasting once again. Okay, now you can say I have quite a number of records in my worksheet. Okay, I have a number of lines in my worksheet. I have over, I think it's close to 100. I'm just pasting, okay? Yes, I'm pasting once more to have more than 100 records. Now that I have all this information, if I try to print preview, just press on Control Print, it will show you the preview of your work. I have, in total, I will have 9 pages. If I'm to go to the next page, the next set of candidates, you can say that I don't have the headings, okay? The headings are not there. How about if I want to have those headings appear on all the pages, regardless of of how many they are? Okay, you'll find that I can, assuming I have so many other, let me first go back. You will find that if I'm to go up at the beginning of the worksheet, I could be even having so many other rows up here. Okay, I could be having so many other rows up here. Let me insert some more rows up. How do we insert rows? Go to row number 1, click on it, then click insert. Okay, I've inserted some extra rows. Let me try to remove some. So I'm going to paste the other information that we had before. This information here, I'm going to paste it there. Copy, and then I go back to my worksheet and paste that information. Now, after pasting that, let me remove row number 7 since it's empty. Now, you can start to have so many rows, but how about if I want specific rows to appear on each and every page? If I'm to preview, ladies, right now through Control Print, Control P, this is how it's appearing on page number 1. This one is on top. You are seeing that the boxes aren't showing because I didn't select the cells and apply all borders. Okay, these ones are having their borders because I applied them. Now, if I'm to go to page number 2, okay, you can see that those headings on top are not visible. Okay, then the same thing applies for all other candidates. Now we are going back. I want to have this row number 8 to appear on all the pages. Okay, so what we are going to do in this case, we want to ensure that this under print, okay, this row number 8 is repeated on all the pages. When you look at these different tabs, for example, we have page layout. Okay, on the page layout, when you click on print titles, we have under page setup on our page layout tab, we have print titles. So print titles allows us to choose the titles, the headings we want to be printed on all the pages. So once you click on print titles, we have, for example, if you want the grid lines to appear, I would just click here. I'll ask you to go and try out this option. I've not shown you how to do it, but it's also done here. But I want rows to repeat at top of each and every page when I'm printing. Okay, so that's where my cursor is. So I want row number 8 to be repeated. Okay, so when you look at this, on the extreme right, we have this icon with an arrow pointing up. This icon allows us to be given, it allows us to take away this dialog box and allow us to select. So meaning if I click on this icon here, like this, the dialog box disappears. But after it has disappeared, you realize that I have an arrow, just like you can see. The arrow comes the way you are seeing it, like this. So it's asking me to select the row I want to repeat. Okay, so I'll go and point at row number 8 and click. You can now see that after clicking, it has been the entire row has been selected and highlighted. Okay, now that it has been highlighted, look at my dialog box, which was big, which was occupying more space. It has been minimized, but I have $8, okay, showing on my what? On my what was empty, what was an empty text box, sort of. Okay, I have 8 now showing. Now, once you look at where 8 is at the extreme right hand side of that tiny dialog box which has been minimized, I have an arrow pointing down. Okay, so if I want to bring back my dialog box again, clicking that arrow, okay, it will come back. So in other words, it disappeared so that I'm able to select. Okay, after selecting, I'm able to bring it back. Now, after clicking on OK, we have OK down at the bottom. Click on OK. And now try to preview still by going to Control Print. You realize that now if I try to move next page, I will have row number 8, which is having headings, okay, appear on all the pages, which wasn't the case before. So when I print, all my pages will have that row number 8 repeated. Previously, it was not the case. Okay. Now that we have looked at that, let's look at also, by the way, we can do so many things in Excel. We can't exhaust everything, okay? Now, if you've been very keen again, okay, let me go back. If you've been very keen, you must have realized that in print preview, I have about 9 pages. Can somebody try to mute themselves? Carol, you want to say something? Okay, thank you. So we have 9 pages in total. But how about if I'm interested in, let's say, specific students? Okay, maybe I want to print. I just want to see somebody's name and maybe the remark. Meaning I don't want to see everything else. We have what we call hide. Okay, we can hide and unhide cells in Excel. Meaning, like last time I was teaching so many students, I had huge spreadsheets. But you're able to sort out and pick out only what you want at a particular point in time. For example, I can choose so that, yes, I have all these records, but I don't want to see, let's say, the allowances. Maybe I want to say somebody's name, basic pay, and other details. So I can choose, for example, column C, right click, and select hide. Okay. Now, if you are sober enough, you must be able to say that I have A, I have B, I don't have C, instead I have D. Okay. So meaning C is hidden. It can do the same thing to rows as well. I can hide the rows, I can hide columns. So let me do the same thing and hide all these other rows up to pay as you earn. So that I'm only able to see this. Okay. Actually, let me hide even Let me hide even basic pay. That's column number B. Okay. If you are still looking very well, you must have realized that I have after O, I have this dotted line here, imaginary line, showing me the page, where the page ends. Previously, previous actually, if I try to unhide some of the information I have hidden, this dotted line is after M, meaning one page will end here. Then from N it will be on another page. So I'm able to I will have more pages in this case. But as I hide, find that maybe somebody asked to see only people's maybe performance. Maybe they only want to see people's only their net pay, depending on who wants the information for whichever purpose they want in the organization. Okay, so meaning you can pick out only the required information at a time and print. Okay. In so doing, we're also able to save on paper. Right now, let me try to print preview and see how many pages I will have. Control P. I had 9. I think given now they are now 6, you can see. Why? Because the columns were occupying more space. But now they are 6. They're going to be 6 pages in total if I'm to print. So let me hide one more. Now that this last column for remark is occupying another extra page, let me try to hide basic pay, which is column B and C. Now you can see that it is going to, one page will be even actually having some more space. In case I want to add more information on this page. So in my print preview, once again, you can see that I have, how many pages would they be? Are they still, now they are now 3. You can see how you can save on paper by just adjusting here and there, okay, and choosing what to print and what not to print. Right now I have only 3 pages out of the 9. So in other words, you only pick out what you want to print at a time. Without you don't have to delete, or you don't have to copy and take to a different worksheet. Okay. In case you want to have a certain column come back, you just go, for example, I want column B to come back. Okay. Column B is in between A and L. So in such a case, I can either bring them, since they're all in the same block, once I position my cursor between A and L and double click, one column will come at a time. Okay. If you want all to come, select A and that column that is visible. Okay, select both columns. For example, in this case, I have column A and J. So I want all between A and J to come back. Okay, so select A and J, then right click, select and hide. They will come back. So that's how we can hide and unhide columns and rows in a spreadsheet. Now let's look at, yes. Ask. I can't hear you.
Supposing I have some like columns, and yes. I'm not supposed. Can you hear me now? Columns. I'm supposed
Your
to print all.
You're supposed to print all. Yes.
Yes, and apart from reducing the font size.
Your network, I can't hear you.
How can I make sure that
I can't hear you.
Print all on in Excel?
How can you? How can you?
Can you hear me now? It's in Excel.
But I think from what I've got is that how can you ensure that everything fits on the page? Not so? Is it? Ensuring that everything fits on the page. Is it your question?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
All the columns are many. I'm not supposed to hide anything. All on one page.
Okay, fine. First of all, when you look at my worksheet, on the extreme end, we have different layouts, okay? The default one is normal, okay? We have normal layout, we have page layout, and then we have page break. Now let's go to page layout and see. Okay, that's how it looks. Okay, then we have also page break. Okay, so when you look, the easiest way out would be, but sometimes of course, find that if you force again too much, you might end up having something which is not readable at all. Okay, because you can still adjust and maybe try to squeeze and that certain things fit on a number of pages, maybe a few pages. But the more you do it, the more it becomes more not readable. Sometimes you have to bear that in mind, of course. Okay, but you can as well, for example, in this case, if I happen to, I can say I have 9 pages in total. Actually, me, I wouldn't recommend such, because in most cases, if you can see what I'm doing right now, okay, I'm just adjusting this blue margin, okay. I'm going to repeat anyway. I know you didn't get it. Right now, what you are seeing here is going to fit on one page. Okay, what I did in such a case, I went to page break view. Okay, page break shows you different pages you are going to have when you print by showing you these dotted blue lines. Okay, so meaning, for example, this is one page, just like you can see that, just like you can see. This is page 1. I have page 2 down. I have page 2 down. I think it's here. Then page 3 is down again. Then I have page 4 up. Page 5 is here. Page 6 is down. Then page 7 is up. This is page 8. This is page 9. Okay. So you can just drag this blue line, okay, to adjust accordingly to wherever you want each page to end. Okay. So if I happen to print preview right now, you can see that's how it's going to be. It's going to be one page. Actually, it's 2. I think I didn't adjust to one page. I didn't adjust to one page. I ended it at page 2. Okay. But are you able to read this in such a case? For example, it depends on the size, on how much you have. But for purposes of, for example, having everything on one column, I think you can adjust. Okay, you can adjust so that maybe all the columns fit on one page, but the rows maybe can overlap. It's possible to adjust for all the columns as well, the way you want. I think I've answered your question. Let me undo.
Yes, you have.
Okay. I think I answered her question. Then let me go back to normal view. If I'm to go back to normal view, I now want to talk about sort and filter. Okay, I want to talk about sort and filter. So when talk about sort and filter, ladies, okay, you realize that I have so many records. For example, I was teaching last semester, I was teaching a certain course, which is done by every student in the university. Okay, but time came, I wanted each faculty to have their own records, and then each course, arranging the information per course, meaning each worksheet having a specific course, not a mix of courses on the same worksheet. So among other things we can do, we can talk about filter. Okay, right now what you are seeing right now is because I applied what? why you are seeing these arrows here is because I applied what? I applied the what? Border styles, table styles. I formatted as table. So once you format as table, it will bring these arrows down as well. Okay. That's why you are seeing these arrows. But under normal circumstances, let me first remove the border styles on row number 8 alone. Let me first remove the border styles I applied on row number 8. Then see how we can go about what I want us to do. So what we are going to do in this case, I want us to filter, okay? We look at my headings, the current headings I have just inserted, okay? Amongst the headings I have, for example, performance and then remark. How about if I want to filter by performance, whereby I only want to see people who performed excellently and then very good. Okay, so to apply filters, click on any of the headings in your worksheet. Okay, then go on your home tab. We have sort and filter. Then click on filter. Okay, now actually even this one has now allowed to be edited. Okay, so I want to filter based on performance. So click on any of the headings, like any of the cells, like I said, within the range of cells with your heading. So let me put my cursor here. Okay, then go to filter and click. Okay, so once you click on filter, actually the system has already detected that these headings are the same. Okay, and it has chosen to put filters, okay, on the heading we've been working with. So I think I can remove some of these other headings. Now it has allowed me to remove the headings I didn't want to have. So I have my headings the way they were. Now that I clicked on the cell, then went to sort and filter under home tab. Okay, then clicked on filter. So that's how we apply filters, and it's the same thing, and it's the same way we remove filters. Now I only want people whose performance is good, for example. So under performance, okay, I will deselect everything and then only select what I want. Once I click OK, only those with whose performance is good will show. Okay, right now you can see that I have how many rows? Oh, I think I even have, oh, why down here it's different is because the formatting down is different actually. While I was applying what? Format as table, I didn't select this area. So let me select the entire worksheet, all the records down here, okay, and apply filters on all. So once I go to my headings on top, okay, and performance, I only want those with good performance. Click. So I export it even down here where I have now selected. Oh, it's not working. Why it's not working actually? It's because down here, the formatting was not applied. I think let me apply formatting for all the records in my worksheet. Yes, up to here. So we went to on our home tab, we went to format as table and then selected the formatting we wanted. Let me see how I can go about it. We can continue now. For us to do what? To filter out, just pick out the column we want to filter. Maybe under performance, I only want a specific key. Okay. Maybe I want only those with the poor performance to show. So you can now, out of the many records I had, for example, I don't have row number what? 9. I don't have 10. I don't have 11. I have 15. Then out of 15, I have 22. Then I have 24. So all those other rows have been hidden. Because why are they hidden? Because their performance is not under the category I specified. So if I'm to print right now, instead of having less than 9 pages, I'll have only a few, maybe 2 pages where this information can fit. So meaning you're able to pick out which information you can give out to who. Okay, within the same system, but you can always, it's up to always pick out only that specific information that you want. Okay, then how about if I want both poor and maybe fair? I will tick both. Okay, so you can start to have those with poor and those with fair performance. So as simple as that. You can as well, for example, assuming I have this is performance, then this is something else. Okay, maybe I have another one called maybe nationality. I can pick out, let's say, those performance is good and they are coming from Uganda. Then I'll go to this other column and do the same thing, then under filter, then pick out the nationality I want. Okay, so it becomes easier to work with your information. You are able to only pick out what you want at a time. Now let me select all the information. Somebody is having their microphone on. I don't know if yes, Auma. Auma, can you speak to us? Your hand is up. Beatrice, can you speak? Your hand is up and you, okay, maybe it was by accident. Okay, so let me bring back all the records. Now, can you mute since you can't speak to us, Auma? Okay, thank you. So I've brought back everything. To bring back everything, we just go to under the column you want. Okay, click in the arrow and then check everything. Okay, put a tick on everything and then click OK. Everything will get back. How about if I want to sort? Okay, I can, for example, want to sort by maybe who is having the highest pay to the one having the lowest pay. So to do that, to sort by that, we need first of all select the rows, or we need to select the data set that we want to sort upon. So in this case, I'm selecting from the heading name, I'm selecting everything up to the end of my, this time around, I want to ensure that everything is selected to avoid making errors. Okay. So if I'm to sort right now, if I'm to click on sort, okay, what will happen is that they will sort by name, by the first column. That's how Excel does. So let me try it out and see. Sort by 1 to AZ. It has sorted by name. You can see A is number 1, and then M is number last. Okay. I'm going to undo Control Z. How about if I want, let's say I want to sort by highest pay or lowest pay, whichever other, maybe anything else I want to sort by. Okay, in such a case, we can go for under sort again on our home tab. We go to sort, okay, where we went for filter is the same position you got for sort. So sort, okay, then we select custom sort. So custom sort allows you to choose which sort criteria you want to use. Therefore, we shall go to column, okay, sort by, clicking the arrow, select the column upon which you want to base your sort. Okay, this time around I want sort by net pay. Okay, is it in ascending or descending? Is it by smallest, or if it was figures, if it was text, maybe for example nationality, I would have maybe descending and ascending. But since I'm having numbers, with numbers, I have smallest and then largest. So I want sort by largest pay to the smallest. Okay. If I want to add the level, I can as well add. What do you mean by adding a level? I can say that sort by largest to smallest. If, for example, if I have two people with the same salary, I can add another criteria that, for example, largest, smallest, then maybe by name, then ascending, or maybe by department, ascending. If people are earning the same salary, I can say that sort by department again, descending or ascending. So that if, for example, I have a department called the ICT and another one called maybe finance. Finance, maybe ICT will, which one will come first? E and I and F. Which one comes first alphabetically? You can tell which one will come first. So once I say finance will come first, okay? So you can see finance will come much as the same salary, but finance will come first because I've added another level here, okay? And specify that maybe yes, sort by net pay, then by something else you want to add there. For my case, I'm going to say by name. If people are having the same net salary, then I want the first name alphabetically or the last name alphabetically to come first, whichever order I want to have. So I'm clicking on OK. You'll see that now, if I'm to move to salary, net pay, you can now see that the highest is 3.5. Okay, they are arranged in ascending order from the highest to the lowest. And if I'm to look critically, you'll find the lowest is having a 794,000 shillings. So that is it. So you make your life very simple. You're able to organize your data the way you want. Easily. By the way, I always prefer using Excel when I'm working with, because there's a way it becomes flexible when I'm dealing with my data. Why? Because I can always play out with it the way I want without having to first delete this, then add this, then maybe need to first copy this into the other one, and so on. You just pick out anything you want at any time you want and then work with it the way you want. Then finally, before we close, we're going to close very soon. I want us to look at, for example, I have this huge worksheet, okay? And I need to use this same information in another worksheet, okay? For example, when they were still using the manual system for results using Excel, you find that the same students you had in year 1, semester 1, are the same in year 1, semester 2, okay? Then and so on up the final year. So in such a case, you don't have to type the names again, or you don't have even to copy the names, okay? You can just call the same information, okay? Previously, we said that if I want what I have in, for example, in B2, B3 to come in my current cell here, I just say equal sign B3, okay? Equal sign B3, press enter. I think in B3 I have nothing. How about if I say before? I have nothing in before. Why do I have nothing anyway? Let me first find out if there's nothing in before. Okay, let me find out why it's showing me nothing. Do I really have nothing in before? Yes, I have nothing in all these other cells here. It is true. Okay, so let me go down again and call B what? B8. So B8, okay, B8. I have the word best pay in B8. You're getting me? So the same thing can apply. I can, right now I'm on this worksheet called sheet 1. Let me rename it maybe and call it payroll. Payroll. Okay. Of course, even that name would work. Any name, anything can do. So I'm inserting a new worksheet. I guess by now you remember how to insert new worksheets. We go to our, at the bottom of the worksheet, right after the worksheet you have, there is a plus icon. We click on that icon to create a new worksheet. For example, this time around, I want to get somebody's name. Let me switch cells they are. The names are, they start from A8 going downwards. Okay. So from A8 going downwards, I want to call A8 so that people's names can be brought to this new worksheet. So remember, everything begins with equal sign. Okay. So for us to do that, to call what is in another worksheet, what you do, equal sign, worksheet name, okay, exclamation mark, then the address of the cell. Okay. So we shall say equal sign. I've typed the worksheet, the equal sign. I can type the word payroll, okay, to have its name here. But if I don't do that, okay, I can even just, after equal sign, I can just click on the worksheet itself, like this. The worksheet will load. Okay. Let me repeat. I typed in the cell where I want to have my output. I typed equal sign. Okay. After equal sign, in this case, I can either type the worksheet name or I can just click on the worksheet the way I've done right now. Once you click on the worksheet will load, will come. You can now say that I'm in this worksheet. Now, in this worksheet, what exactly do I want? I want this cell here, A8, to be called. Okay, so I'll click on A8. You're getting me? So once I press enter, name has come in this new worksheet I've created. Okay, so once I drag downwards, it will still, oh, this one is going to confuse you. Actually, why we are having this time around, why you are seeing what you are seeing is because remember I have those filters. Those filters dictate a lot in Excel. So let's undo. Okay, let's use the other approach of worksheet name. This one is having the headings, that's why it's giving us this error. Okay, if you are to, this one is having the headings. Okay, it's taken as headings with those filters we applied. Okay, so if we are to use another worksheet, let's first use another worksheet, another cell, let's use another cell and see. So equal sign under payroll, let's have this one here, okay, which is not having headings with filters. Okay, now after clicking in this new cell, okay, and pressing enter, you can see this one has worked. This one has worked. And if I'm to drag, it will bring me all the names. Why the other one didn't work is because the heading, the column, the cell I selected was having headers, okay, which headers we had given instructions such as filtering and so on. Okay, so in such a case, that means if I'm to undo, let's do it this way to do what I wanted us to do. Let's have our name typed manually. Yes.
I'm not understanding that part of this second worksheet.
Okay, let me redo everything. We are starting from 0 once again. Okay. So I want us to have, we have our new worksheet. We want the names in the other worksheet to come here. One thing I've realized is that if you have these filters we applied here, these arrows you are seeing here, there's a way they affect certain things, okay? So we are going to work it out in another way, okay? So in other words, I want the names here in this previous worksheet here to come to this new worksheet, okay? So assuming I have my heading here, reading names. Now I want the names to come instead of me copying or doing anything else. So I want the names from the first candidate. I want them to come starting from here, okay? So I said, first of all, type equal sign like any other formula or function. Then type worksheet name. In this case, it is called Payroll, okay? Type the worksheet name the way it is, okay? Payroll, then exclamation mark. After payroll, I guess you know what exclamation mark is, okay? After exclamation mark, for example, I want A9, okay? Press enter. In A9 I have this name called Ainembaba's Rose Rebecca. What did I type to bring this name? I typed equal sign, payroll. That's the worksheet name here, okay? Exclamation mark, then the cell in that worksheet called payroll, okay? Another way of doing it, actually, I guess if I'm to use this approach here without having to click on the worksheet, if I'm to use the other people, if I'm to use this approach, even the other heading would come. But I want to show the easiest way. Which easiest way doesn't work when you have filters in that row. So if I don't type the way I've typed it, let me repeat. Okay, equal sign. I can just click on the worksheet itself here. After clicking on the worksheet will come automatically, like you are able to see now. So once it comes, I'm able to select the cell I want. Okay, and press enter. You can see the other, I am emphasizing why in the first case, the headings here didn't come. It's because of these filters I have, because these filters are commanding something in the program. Okay, that's why the filters denied us from having what we wanted. So right now, if I'm to drag all those other names still, if you have to remember what relative cell references are, okay, it will keep bringing all those other cells that are in the worksheet, okay, with the information we have. So all the names are coming, just like you can see, okay? I'm able to call everything the way I have it, okay? The names have come the way I typed them. Oh, I put this space. I didn't know that I have some space up here. It's not necessary. So all the names have been coming the way I typed them, okay, from the other worksheet. It's speaking from the other worksheet. If I want, for example, to have people's names, okay, and then maybe they are only their basic pay. This time around, I want to get 5%. Actually, maybe we have a circle, and each one of us is contributing maybe to the circle. Okay, maybe I have circle deduction, circle contribution. Okay, I want to base on somebody's net pay to deduct 5% of their basic pay and take it to our circle and we save. Okay, so in this case, circle is where gross pay. I want net pay. Net pay is here, okay? Is here. This is our net pay. So we want 5% of this net pay. So we can say, we can come to our worksheet here and say equal sign the way we did previously. Equal sign. Okay. Remember, first of all, we type payroll, the worksheet name, in other words, type the worksheet name, exclamation mark, and then the address of the cell. Meaning I would say equal sign payroll. I said if you only want to type, you can even just click on the worksheet. Look out for the specific cell you want, like this one. Okay, it will come. Press enter. So this is what I have for this person's net pay. I have 3.5 something. Okay, if I wanted just the salary to come, that means I would by now be done if I just wanted the salary to come. But I want to get this salary and get 5% of that salary. Actually, percent is what? Is going to be 300 and something thousand, okay? 350,000, even without having to calculate. So let me say times 10% times 10%, okay? Press enter. So I've got 10% of these people's salaries, net pay, okay? But I didn't have to copy the what? The names from the other what? I just had to call the information from the other worksheet, okay? I just called the information and then used the what? The information from wherever it is. Meaning, should somebody salary change the other side, even the same thing will apply this in this new worksheet. Okay. So I think we are going to end here for today. We are going to end here for today. Any questions? Yes, Carol, you have a question. Your hand is up.
It is a suggestion.
Yes.
I want us to discuss with these members, since they are still here, on what time we are going to have Microsoft with you around.
Microsoft.
So that, I mean,